Warning: this video might contain a story about a ship that had a sinking, and even talking about people's deaths. For some viewers, it could may be disturbing. If you're feeling disturbed, get off of the video right now. Viewer discretion is advised. RMS Andrew was a British passenger ship operated by the Cunard Line. He was the third ship in the Jamboree-class ocean liners, and the ship was also known was the first ship to have male pronouns. Being the part of the Great Ships Group. He was made in 1909 and launched in 1907. And then he was commissioned in 1910. He had 17 voyages. His first voyage being his voyage from Liverpool, UK, to Cherbourg, France. And his final voyage was from Liverpool, UK, to Oslo, Norway. There in the voyage he sank because he was hit by a torpedo in 1915, until they found his shipwreck in 1983. So the ship was named after Sir Andrew Fawcett, who was the chairman of Cunard in the early 1900s. The ship was 37 meters long, and he had 1624 first-class passengers on board. They had 4 funnels, and he had 6 masts. He also had barber's chairs in first class. So the first class, blah, blah, blah. The ship was built by the Harland and Wolff in Belfast, and his captain was Walter Walker, and the crew was 95. Top speed, 21 knots. History. The idea for RMS Andrew first started by White Star Line by making a new ocean liner. However, Cunard decided on making a really similar project but with Lusitania 2. And then White Star Line afterwards canceled the project. But then after Cunard's work on developing Lusitania 2, the project was canceled, and the Lusitania 2 is now considered an unfinished and never built ship. But then they discovered about White Star Line making a new ship called the RMS Olympic. So they decided to do their own version, which was very similar to the RMS Olympic's design. After long years of building, he was finally commissioned in 1910 as RMS Shelburne. He was named for 3 years, only because when 3 years were over, he was finally named into RMS Andrew we all know of today. But then on September 27th of 1915, the RMS Andrew sank because he was hit by a torpedo by an unknown submarine. There were 759 people on board the RMS Andrew. Only 46 people were saved. 42 of those people were not saved. But some of his brothers, the RMS Liverpool, survived for much longer. And then during the 1930s, during the Great Depression, a new ship was created called the RMS Americ, which afterwards, during World War II, became a hospital ship and sank. Sinkings. 1913 sinking. In August 1913, there was a German ship coming to sinking RMS Andrew after getting hit by a mine next to an oil rig. And then the German ship, what name was SS Imperator, crew of RMS SS Imperator took out the passengers of the sinking RMS Andrew. All passengers has rescued by SS Imperator. After his sinking, all of the crew raised him up and brought him to Southampton for repair. And then after all of these repairs, he was finally returned back to service. 1915 sinking. On September 27th of 1915, the RMS Andrew sank because he was hit by a torpedo by an unknown submarine. There were 759 people on board on the RMS Andrew. Only 46 people were saved. 42 of those people were lost. Afterwards, the ship was never talked about and never remembered again until 1982 when they found his shipwreck. Fun facts about RMS Andrew. Fact 1. Did you know that RMS Carpathia was once RMS Andrew's tender from 1910 to 1915? Fact 2. Did you know that RMS Andrew was the first ship with male pronouns in the English language? And that was the whole story of the RMS Andrew.